Imagine if you could easily find solutions to make your region or city smarter, greener, better connected, more social, and closer to citizens. The Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform can help you access knowledge about the latest policy trends, discover expert-validated good practices from all over Europe, find solutions in our peer review, get tailored support from our expert team. We can connect you with the right people and organizations. Together, we will find ways to solve your region's or city's challenges. Start your policy learning journey today.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar on labor market integration of third country nationals. So this webinar is brought to you by the Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform under the social team. My name is Mart Veliste. I will be your moderator today. And with me is my colleague Erik, who will help co-moderate the session. And of course, with us also we have multiple great speakers who I will introduce shortly. And also our colleague Valentin, under the name Policy Learning Platform, is here as well. If you have any technical issues with the Zoom, you can also write directly to chat to her and she can assist if needed. Today's webinar is also recorded, so for your information, that is a detail there. And we encourage you throughout the webinar to ask a lot of questions from our speakers. The way you can do that is by writing them to the Q&A or to the chat, and then together with Erik, we will screen them and read out them to the speakers. So this is, I think, enough intro on the technical side. And here are again once our pretty faces. But this is the agenda for today then. So we start with a short introduction on the Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform, because it's still a new contract period. Maybe a lot of you are new to Interreg Europe, so a few slides about what the Policy Learning Platform is about. And then we have 3 presentations. We start with a keynote by Marcel Stumpf from the Germany context of a labor market initiative there. And then we move on to 2 other good practices from Romania and the Netherlands. And at the end of the webinar, we then have a panel discussion where all the speakers join us again to sort of have a joint discussion on the topic of labor market integration. Now, a few words about the platform. So basically, we are the second pillar of Interreg Europe. So there are the projects of Interreg Europe, and then there's the platform. And on the platform, we try to sort of build on the rich knowledge and insights of the projects. We bring it together, break down silos of projects and communities working on these policy issues. And basically, we connect knowledge, expertise, and people. And we do it through different type of activities. So we have the webinar like today, we have physical workshops, we write stories, we have written policy briefs that are more extensive materials. And then very particular to Interreg Europe is the peer review service. So all public authorities across Europe are welcome to apply for the peer review or the matchmaking service. And these are tailored services that would help you solve your policy challenges. So for example, if there's a question that you and your, let's say, city council is struggling with, you're not really sure what is the correct policy intervention to solve this issue, then you can turn to us, and we will find across Europe other experts who have had the similar issue and have found a solution to it, and then we facilitate an exchange to find the best solutions. And we've done this service since 2019, so we've had over 80 peer reviews and over 50 matchmakings. The difference of these 2 services is mostly in scope. So the peer review normally lasts for a day and a half, and we involve roughly 5 to 6 experts, whereas the matchmaking is normally a virtual set event where we would discuss around 2 hours with 2 to 3 experts. The matchmakings we also offer as an add-on to our physical events. So if you ever join one of our workshops on site, then you can also apply for a matchmaking service that would happen on the second day of the workshop. And under Social Europe, just 2 examples to illustrate. We haven't had any of these services yet on the topic of migration or integration, but we've had one on the labor market in the past where we were focusing on the NEET youth. And Erik and other colleagues, they went to La Réunion, France, to discuss this with experts from 7 countries to really try to suggest solutions on this sort of high school dropout and other issues that were there. It was a very comprehensive discussion back in the end of last year. And then matchmaking service, again, on a different topic, but just as an example, we had a workshop in Burgos this May, and on the second day, we had a 2-hour discussion for the benefit of Latvian stakeholders on how could we support co-working in rural areas. So just these 2 examples of how this service looks like. On the platform, we have a much bigger team than the people that are here today. So working on different topics, whether it's innovation, SME competitiveness, greener Europe, or other. So you might have come across these faces, or you will come across these faces in other contexts when you interact with the policy learning platform. And now I get to the topic matter. So we, for this webinar, have chosen the topic of labor market integration of third country nationals. So as a shorthand, I use migration, but just to say that we are basically talking about non-EU citizens today. And it's the first time really we are tackling this topic in an event of Interreg Europe, because in the previous contracts of we didn't have this as a focus area, but now under Social Europe, it is a key area. And you can see on the screen, we have at least 4 projects currently that are working specifically on migration, and most of them are looking at it also from the labor market angle. And then we have also set up other projects that are looking at labor market more generally, not only focused on at the migrant segment, but then also whether it's female employment or youth employment or something else. But there are definitely a lot of, let's say, cross-cutting learnings on these different policy interventions when it comes to employment. And the main goal of the webinar is to just let's share the practices, the experiences we have. And that's why we've invited these 3 speakers today, and see what have been sort of the maybe key lessons, what are key lessons that led to success, or maybe some things that didn't work so well. So that is what we're exploring here today. And finally, this probably, if you're attending this webinar, is not a surprise to you, but it's migration as such in Europe is highly topical. The Ukraine war has sort of become the largest migration crisis for Europe since the Second World War. These figures, I believe, are from January of this year. And still from other parts of the world, we also still get in Europe a lot of asylum seekers. And most likely with the latest news happening in Lebanon, we could expect some other new flows coming Europe's way, right? So it's a constant challenge that is here. And once these people arrive, of course, they face various challenges, whether it's language barriers, understanding the new culture, and so on, trying to find education, trying to find housing. But one of the issues, of course, always is also about how do you find a job to start earning a living. And, it's a key thing because once you get these people employment, then you somehow lessen the burden on the social system if they're able to start taking care of themselves a bit, and eventually also contribute with tax income back to the system. But of course, it's a rocky and long road, but that is the ultimate goal. And with this, I think I can wrap up and invite our first speaker. So Marcel, please join me on screen. I will stop sharing from my side. Yeah, I can see you. You can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for invitation. I'm glad to meet all of you, even if it's only virtually. But I think it's very important and a very good a good thing that we meet here today and are able to share ideas, thoughts, experiences. And I'm glad that I'm able to share some good practice that we have here in Saxony, a part of Germany, an outstanding program that we asked recently our colleagues in other federal states in Germany, and I think it's still quite unique what we have in Saxony. So I'm sharing my screen that you can see what I'm going to talk about. And I hope it will work fine. I'm going to talk about the so-called Arbeitsmarkt in Saxon. It's a mentoring program, particularly for refugees. So there's the main focus, and but it's also open for other immigrants that came to Saxony. We started the program in 2016. As you all know, we were facing an increased number of refugees coming to Europe,
Marcel,
as well as to...
I'm just sorry to interrupt you. So we're getting some sort of static when you're speaking. So maybe while presenting for now, you can turn off your camera, and maybe the audio will come back a little clearer. And then in the panel, we can come get you back on the screen with the camera as well. Maybe this helps. Yeah.
Yes, I hope it works. Give me a sign if it's not going to be better.
It's unfortunately for some reason the same. I don't know why, because everything worked 5 minutes ago, right? So.
Okay.
Marcel, maybe do you have a
yes?
headset? Do you have a headset?
No, I don't have.
Okay. Well, let's try this way. I think now it's going a little better.
Yeah. Let's continue.
Okay. Let me know if it's getting worse again. So how it came to this, how we started our program, or what was the reason for starting it? It was the increased number of refugees coming to Germany in 2015 and 2016. And we were wondering, okay, what can we do to help these people finding their way to jobs, to vocational training, and so on. So we were observing, observing the landscape, the integration landscape in our part in Saxony, and we were coming to the point that we recognized we have very complex responsibilities according to different steps of integration. So one authority was responsible for this part of the integration process. Another authority was responsible for another step. And quite often it was the case that they were not working together. They were not collaborating. And so this integration process was not really integrated, if you can say so. And another thing was that we had a large variety of different kinds of services, support structures, and so on. And it was hard not only for people who were coming new to our country, but also for us or for companies to deal with all these kind of responsibilities, all these kinds of support services. And yeah, it was hard to gain an overview for all of us, for not only foreigners, employers, but even for, let's say, the specialists who should know better. So what did we do in this case? We knew it was not easy to change the integration landscape, at least not in a short period of time, because we have also different level of responsibilities. We have the federal level, we have the our level, the level of the federal states, and we have the level of the communities. So we knew to change the system was a big thing, but we wanted to help immediately. So we evaluated the situation, as I mentioned already. We had a look at it. What do we have? What kind of support structures do we have? And what do first of all, do the refugees that come to us need? And also what do potential employers need? So we decided to initiate a model program, which started in November 2016. And from the beginning, we said it can't be perfect. We have to start now, and we see if we have to adapt something. So learning by doing was a very important thing while implementing the program. We also did an evaluation with an external evaluator in 2018, which helped us to improve the program further, because the first phase, the model phase of the program was limited till the end of 2019, and we already after a short period of time, we recognized that we have to continue the program even after 2019. So the second phase started in 2020 and lasted till the end of 2024. And in order to prepare this phase, we had this evaluation, and we figured out where to change things. So one important thing that we recognized in a very early stage is that every refugee that came to our mentoring program came with individual issues, was also individual requirements. So in the beginning, in the concept phase of the program, we had clear steps of the integration program. It was, let's say, the projects that we funded, they were separated in different, work programs. So, and one was one step at a time. And we recognized this was not working well, so we changed it in the model phase, and we said, okay, please follow a more individual approach to really address the needs of all our mentees. So what are the essentials of the program? The most important thing is our mentors that support the refugees and other migrants, as well as employers. So we do not look only at the refugees, but also employers are, let's say, our customers. Across Saxony, we have 14 projects with, at the moment, 76 mentors. And besides this, we have something called Programmbegleitung. It's like a separate entity that coordinates and supports the local projects and the mentors. And we use an extensive network of stakeholders, and we have an intensive cooperation with different kinds of partners. So in order to get an idea how we are working, you can see a map of Saxony and different kinds of communities. And in each of these communities, we have one project. Only the district of Middle Saxon, there is like this. We have two. We fund two projects which are separated locally. So they split the district in two parts, and because it's quite large, and so we try to cover all Saxony. It's not 100%, but big parts we can cover with our program. Yeah, and what are the key results so far? I have to say that these numbers that you can see here, they are for the second phase of the program. So from the beginning of 2020 up till the end of June this year. So we had almost 4,800 mentees supported, 35 of them female. It's a number that increased over the years. So in the beginning, there were only a few women in our program, but it's increasing more and more. We also have almost 2,000 employers that we supported so far. And of this 4,800 mentees, we placed about 2,670 in work or vocational training. Of this, 30% are female. And then we make we divide between, let's say, putting the people in work or vocational training and calling them sustainably integrated. So almost 2,000 of them are sustainably integrated, and 24% of them female. So to make sure what it means is like this, how we count our success. So in order to be able to count a mentee placed in work or vocational training, the mentee has actually start working or start doing the vocational training. And sustainably integrated is comes afterwards. So after a period of time, we still support our mentees, even if they already are in work or in vocational training. We still support them in order to make sure that they don't stop, because often it's the case that they still have problems to settle in this new environment. They have problems with authorities, with their work permit and so on, different kinds of stuff. So we stabilize this phase. And if the mentor says, okay, now with a good conscience, I can say the mentoring is successful, the employment is stable, or the vocational training is stable, our mentee doesn't need our help anymore, then it is counted as a sustainable integration. So these are the key results so far, and what's going to be next. From the beginning of next year, we start the third phase of the program. Now it will be for a period of 3 years, and in order to put more stability in the program and in the funding of the program, we also integrated our program in the so-called Saxon Integration and Participation Act that was notified this year. And and we will stress our focus on women. We did this already in the last period. And so we will continue with this, and we will also focus on people without qualification. This was not a a key issue so far, but we recognize that it's a problem in Saxony. So this will be also a focus group for the next period. And one of the key challenges that we have, and I know that we will discuss about this also later about key challenges. One of the key challenges for our program is money. I guess it's often the case. I guess we are not an exception in Saxony. Yeah, but it's an important issue. And what did we learn so far about the program or with the program? Here are only a few lessons learned. I have for sure a couple of more come to my mind, but these are the most important in my opinion. So sustainable integration needs an individual approach. This we learned already in the beginning of the program, and it takes time. It's not something that can be done in a couple of weeks or months. The complex set of responsibilities that we are facing that makes collaboration necessary. So every single entity has its meaning, is important, but has its own logic, and this you have to bring somehow. And for this, you have to work together. And the best way to do so is to convince everybody that it can be a win-win situation for all entities that are working together, and it's not a competition. It was hard. We had to learn this, and we are still working on this. That's, in my opinion, an important thing. And yeah, I also mentioned this. Don't try to be perfect. Don't work on your concepts until you think this is really the best product that can be possible. Just start and improve in the process. And what we also learned is that it's very helpful to have a support structure for the projects and the mentors. So somebody who can support the networking, the exchange of knowledge, also the public relations. So not every single regional project has to deal about this, but we have this support entity, and this is really, really helpful in the whole process. And another thing that is also connected to money, do good things and talk about it. So this is also something we were in the beginning shy about. We didn't want to. I don't know how to say. It was hard for us to tell others about how successful our program is, but it's stupid. You need to talk about it, in order to convince, especially those who are responsible about deciding whether you have money or not. So they should know that what you are doing is good, and it's helpful, and it's successful. Yeah, and that's all about this. I'm looking forward to questions now, and also, if you want, you can contact me afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, you can stop sharing the screen. No, I just wanted to say, first of all, that the sound was good. We heard you very well, so no worries there. And I also, Erik has joined us on the screen, and there's been quite a bit of audience interest in what you were presenting. So let's just take the audience questions. And Erik, I give word to you then.
Yes, indeed. We've received quite a few interesting questions. I also have a few questions, but we'll start with those from the audience. We first have Alicia Gabin Barrio from the European Association of Regional and Local Association Authorities for Lifelong Learning. She noted that you refer to other immigrants, and she was wondering if you then refer to undocumented migrants when you say other immigrants. How are undocumented migrants dealt with in your initiative?
No, I don't. No, I don't think they are a target group for us, because I think an important thing for our program is you have to have in order to become a mentee of the program, you have to have the chance to work. You have to be allowed to work, and I think for undocumented migrants it's not the case. So this is some target group that we are not addressing in our program. With other migrants, I mean also EU. So people from other EU member states, or people who came with for working, third state nationalities that came here for working or for education, and now want to change something or got unemployed or something like this.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. Then Karin Nijhoff from the Hague University of Applied Science would like to know if you also work with entrepreneurship. So is the mentoring program also leading to entrepreneurship, or is it really focusing on people getting employed? So getting employed. Sorry, your sound gets very bad. Sorry, can you please repeat?
Now?
I'm afraid you have to maybe take off the video. It gets very bad. I'm sorry.
Okay, now better? Yeah. Can you hear me?
We hear you. It's just very slowly and clearly. Then maybe we'll manage. Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry for this. No, entrepreneurship is not the goal of the program. We have cases like this, and we try to let's say lead. If we have people who are interested in this, or if we have a mentee and we figure out for this person the best would be something like entrepreneurship, so finding their own company. We try to lead them to other kind of support structures.
Okay, sorry, it's very difficult to understand. I'll just repeat briefly. So you said it's not the focus of the program, but sometimes you lead them on to then relevant support for those who want to do entrepreneurship, if I understood correctly.
We help them find other support structures.
Okay.
But then I suggest actually that there are many more questions, and actually we don't have time to take all the questions. So this applies to the entire webinar. So if there are questions that get unanswered, we will later also get back to the people who asked the questions via email to provide the answers. And considering that the network is not so great currently, then I suggest, Paul, that we meet with you again in the panel section at the very end, and hopefully the sound and video will come through better at that moment. But for now, Paul, thank you for sharing all your insights. Definitely sparked a lot of interest in the comments section.
Thanks a lot for all the reactions. Very welcome. And sorry that we can't deal with everything, but we are very much welcome the question, and we do not forget about them. So we'll get back to them in written order.
Thank you very much. I tried to log in again, and maybe it helps.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then with this, I would invite our second speaker, so Oana OSANU from the Maramureș County Employment Agency, to tell us about how in Romania you have been supporting the Ukrainian refugees in recent days. So Oana, please turn on your camera, share the screen.
Hello.
We cannot see you yet, so you need to turn on the camera.
I can start the video. Just a moment, please. Now it's okay.
For some reason,
hello, everyone.
We still don't see you. It's a black screen for us for some reason.
Just a moment. It's yeah. Okay.
It's covered. Okay, now we see you. Okay, welcome.
Thank you. Hello. Very interesting, your presentation. I tried to share my presentation, all of you. Okay. Share screen. Share. Okay. Did you see, everyone?
Yes, maybe you can put it to full screen mode as well. We see it in this presentation mode.
Full screen. Okay. Now it's okay?
Still, it's not full screen for me.
It's not full screen?
No.
No.
Maybe if you're using two screens or something, then it's only, we see this presentation mode only. One option is that you try again and you can share directly the presentation.
Okay. Full screen.
Perfect. Now we see it.
Now okay. Yes. Thank you. Sorry.
No worries. Please go ahead.
Okay. So against the background of the armed conflicts in Ukraine, like other states, of course, Romanian government has also taken a series of decisions and making the condition of access to the Romanian labor market more flexible for Ukrainian citizens. So from 24 February to June, more than 8 million Ukrainian citizens entered the territory of Romania. And more than 4,000 individuals request asylum. Around 100 individuals obtain a form of international protection. Of course, in Romania, apply in Maramureș applied for a temporary protection permit from Regional Center for Procedure and Accommodation of Maramureș asylum seekers is more than 70,000 Ukrainian citizens. Of course, in employment agency, I represent employment agency, Maramureș Employment Agency, is about 1,500 Ukrainian refugees are registered in our institution. Distribution of registered person by age. If of course we have approach 50% age between 25 and 45 years old, and majority is about gender category. It's a female majority. Okay. In 2022, we have some dates here. The legal framework has been created so that Ukrainian citizens who have legally entered the territory of Romania and who do not request a form of asylum protection in Romania can be employed without the employment permit provided by the Romanian legislation. the Minister of Labor approved the procedure for the employment of Ukrainian citizens coming from the armed conflict zone in Ukraine. The employment of Ukrainian citizens who come from the area or armed conflict and who do not have a document proving the professional qualification or experience in activity necessary for employment can be carried out based on the condition of qualification, professional and experience in activity. An exception is the case of those who wish to legal right to work in Romania, independently or the employee, a profession regulated by Romanian law, like a teacher or a doctor or an architect. So as for the right of a refugee in terms of access to a job in Romania, they are provided for in the employment law, since the first article of the law and refer to access to a job under the same condition in Romanian citizen. In 2023, in April 2023, exactement, the Romanian government issued a new decision to establish the condition and mechanism for granting lump sums to foreign citizen or stateless person in special situation coming from the area of the armed conflict in Ukraine. The condition for granting these lump sums are amended as for the first month of stay. The only condition imposed is that the foreigner is a beneficiary of temporary protection, and for the next 3 months, the applicant and his or her family member who meets the condition to be employed on the territory of Romania must be registered with the public employment agency, and the case may be employed in the territory of Romania, and enrollment of minor children in to university education or not to school. And from the 5th month until the end of 2023 year, the applicant and her family member must be employed and have minor children enrolled in school. What is the effect of this law? The increase in the number of job seekers from refugees from Ukraine can be observed in this graphic 2023. Now this decision, government decision in 2023, we are the daily registration of Ukraine job seekers were on average 8 to 10 people, while since in May 2023, their number has increased to an average of 56 applicants per day. Following the meetings with Ukrainian citizens, we identified the need to find out information about the establishment of a company in Romania. So in partnership with YMCA Romania, we have meetings were organized with official representative of the Trade Register Romania. They had a good result considering the Maramureș is on the 5th place nationality in terms of the number of companies established in the country. Maramureș having 56 companies, most of them in the fields, trade, construction, hairdressing and other beauty activity, information technology, service. We have, I think we have a good result because we are in top 10 in Romania. So I just want to say to after our services in Maramureș, approximately 200 Ukrainian citizens were employed in Maramureș. And now we have some picture about our activity, specific activity, the presence in the blue dot of AJFM Maramures since the first month of the outbreak of the armed conflict in Ukraine. Our institution had a close collaboration with the Maramureș County Council, with YMCA Romania, ROA, and another NGO company. Of course, we organize to Blue Dot the information in 3 languages, Ukrainian, Romanian, and English, flyer, and another information. We have a face-to-face meeting were organized with Ukrainian refugees together with the General Inspectorate for Immigration in the Romania and the Maramureș County Council. That's in order to inform Ukrainian citizens about their rights in the territory of Romania, as well as the financial facility they benefit from and where they can request this right. Another activity is meeting with economy agents from the county organized by the Maramureș County Council and for the purpose of identifying jobs for Ukrainian citizens. Another activity is, of course, a partnership with YMCA Maramureș in order to inform Ukrainian refugees for registration at Employment Agency and to provide mediation services for employment. And we organized workshops and another events, meet and greet with the executive with me, of course, organized by YMCA Romania. Next slide is a job cafe with another meet and greet. And we organized job fair. It's good. We have many results of job fair. The citizen Ukrainian was so exciting, and they interaction with the employer. Okay. We have not two, now it's 3 Romanian languages. About 75 Ukrainian citizens graduated from the linguistic skills in Romanian course. And we are identifying the problem. Majority of Ukrainian citizens are overqualified. And in order to practice their profession, they need to recognize diploma and implicitly a good knowledge of the Romanian language. We have also solution, providing support to people who have qualification, such as doctor, pharmacist, medical assistant, midwife for architecture, veterinary doctor, etc. So, in short.
Thank you very much, Oana, for this excellent overview of all the services you provided. I'd also, because with us also in the speaker pool, we have colleagues from the county council, so also Paul and Margareta are welcome to also join on screen if you wish for this Q&A moment. And maybe while giving the people still the time to write some questions to the chat, I can maybe ask the first one. For you, Oana and colleagues, which type of event or initiative you saw that had the biggest impact in terms of helping the Ukrainian people to find employment? Was it the work fair? Was it this meeting, the cafe? So in your experience, what was most important?
It's the meeting with employer and job fair, of course. And the most important is for us is to know language, Romanian language, and a success of our activities organize the Romanian language courses. It's very good for Ukrainian citizen because it's important to know her right, to understand the right and obligațiile și drepturile să înțeleagă legile.
Obligations, yeah.
Obligation and yes. I'm sorry about my English.
Yes, fine. Erik, any questions from your side?
Yeah, I was wondering, you're actually right on the border to Ukraine, so in Western Ukraine, where there is not war right now. So I was wondering, you make a lot of efforts for integration, but do you then have issues with people moving back and forth? And does that have an impact on the way you can work then with these populations that I imagine then have move quite a lot?
Cool.
Erik, sorry if I may step in. I think the video was stopped by the organizer of the video. I will try to help and answer this question.
Sure, go ahead, Paul.
Please.
I don't see myself in the, okay.
Well, that's
I think the video is
secondary. That's
the problem.
Yeah.
So, as you probably know, Maramures is situated in the north part of Romania, the northwest part of Romania, and face many challenges of refugees crisis since the beginning of the conflict. And this disturbed the normal life of our neighboring country, Ukraine. And we had a lot of refugees. I must mention that Oana's presentation, good practice, is practically part of good practice we presented in the CIRM project. The CIRM project we are currently implementing with our partners from Poland, Slovakia, Italy, Croatia, the Netherlands, Ireland, and Latvia, with the lead partner from Poland. It's a project that deals with the interregional exchange of experience between partners in the field of socioeconomic integration and third country nationals, including refugees and migrants. I'm here today with my colleague Margareta Căpăneanu, and I think the rest of the team is also online in this webinar. And we are also ready to answer some of your questions if we have time shortly.
So on this specific point of movements, just migrants then not being stabilized necessarily in your area, but either moving on because they just crossed the border and then they move on, or they may move back to Ukraine or come back and forth. Is that an issue in your labor market integration policies or not necessarily?
Normally they pass through Maramures. Many of them pass through Maramureș until other countries. Until a few months ago, some of them stabilized here. So if we speak about refugees, we still have some refugees in Maramureș County, but migrants, not so many. So it can be an issue regarding the mobility of them. Many entrepreneurs says that they are happy to integrate them, give them jobs and wages. Of course, wages are usually lower because their qualifications is not recognized every time. But in the meantime, they are sometimes living back home or to other countries. So this is an issue we are still facing here in Maramures.
Thank you. I see the clock. Should we maybe move on to the next presentation, Mart? And then
Yes.
I noted one question popping up, but we may get back to the question of qualification. I think is a general issue in all regions. So we can get back to the issue of recognition of qualification and optimal use of migrant qualifications, I think, in the general discussion at the end. So thank you, Lenka, for that question.
And thank you, Oana, for the presentation, and Paul for also joining in with the Q&A. And now we get, last but not least, to our first speaker. So Alexander Grit from the Netherlands, from the University of Applied Sciences of Groningen, Hansa University of Applied Sciences of Groningen. So please, Alexander, could you join us on the screen, share your presentation?
The host has stopped my my video.
Very interesting. Valentin. Oh, now we see.
Yeah, but now it's okay.
Super.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome for inviting me. My name is Alexander Grit, and I'm a professor at the Hansa University of Applied Sciences in Groningen. And I'm happy to share with you Plan Einstein in Utrecht and some cases in the Groningen region. And the first slide, I would like to have the target group in Utrecht, where I'm going to talk about, is asylum seekers. So people do not have a status yet. So after they are in Utrecht, they can still go everywhere. Yes, some are sent back. Some of them will go to another city. Some will stay in Utrecht. Another target group for this particular project is the local residents. So the people who already live in Utrecht. And the drawing here under is about what is not going to happen in Utrecht is that people will wait months or years for nothing and doing nothing. So the idea is that people, as soon as they come in and they do not have a status yet, that they are integrated in the local society, perhaps, but afterwards they will move to another city. So it's a new way of thinking. It's an inclusive way of thinking. This is about Utrecht. Utrecht is a pretty huge city in the middle of the Netherlands. It has about 3,704 people. And Groningen is in the north of the Netherlands, and it's a bit smaller. But both have the same kind of idea towards integration. Therefore, I kind of combine them. And the case in Utrecht is they got quite a lot of support from UEI. That's a European program as well, also based in Lille. And that is the Find Inspiration, Innovative Solutions for Your City. And the case of Utrecht is also in this database. This is us. We are from Interact Europe. We have our own project called MILEstone. And we are participating as the university, and we have the municipality of het Hoge Land. That's in Groningen. And Utrecht Einstein is a good practice for us. This is about Plan Einstein. What you should see already happening is the idea that living, learning, and working together. And if you look very carefully at the picture, you can see that right from the beginning, people make an integration between people who already live in Utrecht and the incomers. And this is a student union who has adopted a group of asylum seekers. And you can see that they're really interacting closely with each other. And that's the whole idea of the program, is that they should be integrated in local communities from the start onwards. And that's the idea. The idea is that there is horizontal governance. So usually the whole asylum seekers is quite vertical organized, and it still is. But in Utrecht, they find for the integration, they find a horizontal governance idea, so that everyone is included. The university, the University of Applied Sciences, care centers, youth centers, everything in the neighborhood is kind of working together to make this a good plan. One of the ideas is also inclusivity. So also people within the neighborhood who might who needs to integrate in society as well are included in this program. And the whole idea is to talk about this connectedness, beautiful word, but the idea is to make a lot of connections in the neighborhood as possible, and therefore it drew our attention, and we started diving into this. And it's the idea is where you build your future, perhaps not in Utrecht, but it can also be in another place. That's very important. So it's not directly integration for the long time, but it's more integration for the short time, and that you are prepared for your future somewhere. That's really important within the project. So it's not integration within this neighborhood in Utrecht that they will stay there forever, but it's integration in order to become more activated in the future. This is the project in numbers. So 50% of all the Utrecht asylum seekers are a part of this program, and 20% neighborhood participation activities target as a minimum amount to ensure inclusive approach. So those are, and I cannot. So this is those are numbers. Later on, I've got more numbers. And the idea is that cities play a crucial role in the integration process of asylum seekers. The way we receive newcomers into society has an impact. And the idea is that they are later on that they're learning and working together in a shared capital idea. So it's not only for the newcomers, but it's also for the residents to learn. Yeah? And it's provide work opportunities, and people draw strength and encourage for many meaningful encounters. And I just got a question from Karin in the other presentation. Yes, it also offers an entrepreneurship program so that asylum seekers can start their own business. Usually it's an online business, but the city of Utrecht knows that they will probably take their enterprise to another city. So there is an entrepreneurship course in it as well. And this is the challenge. And the challenge is that they want to build the best reception program as possible with a lot of volunteers. And what used to be the case in the Netherlands, that the asylum seekers were placed in kind of deprived neighborhoods, and that they were always faced with the problems of the deprived neighborhood. And that's this program wants to change that. Yeah, of course, it's not the case for the Netherlands, but in a lot of cities, those asylum seekers are sent to the borders of the cities, and this one is placed in the very center of the city. It should be a turning point in the reception policy for asylum seekers in Utrecht. The role to cities work in proximity and inclusion, and proximity means close byness. So a lot of people are already close by in the region, in the city. If you talk about the countryside of Groningen, this is not the case. So this idea of proximity is important for this project, that the people who are facing same challenges in the neighborhoods are there as well. And it's to think about see them not as a challenge, but also as an opportunity to bring neighborhoods forwards. And what's important is there is a collaboration between a lot of institutions in the region who never worked together. And that way you get co-design, co-organizing, co-learning, co-teaching. So a lot of things are there. So that's the whole idea of this horizontal governance is into it. And the idea is that also that they live together. So there is co-housing. So they have houses where asylum seekers are, but other people, students live there as well. Yeah? And they have a reception facility. So the project still runs, that they facilitate in one center as both students as Plan Einstein people. The idea is that there's in the green area that they are from day one already are integrated within the system. So they don't have to wait too long. And also all the existing courses like learning English, like learning Dutch culture are part of this Einstein approach. So they got all the programs included. And the solution is to deal with a new way of reception facility for regulars and neighborhood by introducing an inclusive approach. And one of these things is living together, business English classes. And what you see happening is that they're not offering Dutch, but they offer English, because the idea is that with English, they go further into the society. Yeah, of course, there's also an opportunity to learn Dutch, but English is also part of the curriculum. And they do peer coaching and introductions to local businesses and those things. Results. And then I hold on 1 second. Yeah. So the idea is that that the idea for open space and for positive interactions like free training, advice, training support, promoting activities are based on shared interests and objectives for both asylum seekers and other residents. So the idea is that also the residents need to move on, and the idea is to create spaces where they both move on, and that's in the project's DNA. So it's both the residents and the people, and the results have shown that this approach provides many benefits for inclusion and generate more positive atmosphere, that they also may affect to counteract the more negative and hostile narratives about the arrival of refugees. So that's one of the goals as well, that this whole negative narrative, what is happening in Europe at the moment, that they want to counteract it by a direct integration of those asylum seekers within societies. These are the achievements. You can see all the numbers. You had 296 asylum were engaged. You see that there were 200 places on 13 entrepreneurship courses, 10 on web design, 34 from the neighborhood. You can see all the participants who worked in places, and how they organized this. And this co-learning was as well, that the people in the local community could follow it, as well as the asylum seekers. So this is the idea. This was Utrecht. We have in Groningen the same thing. We call it a holistic approach. And what we try to do there is, those people are not asylum seekers, but they do have a status. So they are a step further in the process. And we try to integrate them in local societies, and hopefully the local society will take them further. And we have quite a lot of nice case studies that happens. So we train the status holders, because they do have a status at that time, to actually become involved in local communities, sports communities, all kind of communities they work on. That way they work on their entrepreneurship. And one of the things is that we have a Grootjes minor that's happening at our university. And there we have people who are who want to study, so the youngsters, and then we kind of have them for a year, and they work together and they learn together, and then they have 5 different routes where they can go into. And in conclusion, the idea is that you dive in early into the process, so it's not like they are here already for ages and then something happens. Also, the idea is to do positive interventions, so don't be afraid to intervene in existing programs, because if you want to enter them into local programs, those local programs need to be open as well. And don't underestimate the power of the local community. They're very powerful. And often they're really interested in what is happening, as long as it's good organized and safe organized, and introduced well. That's my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. And then I go back to my screen as well. So I stop sharing.
I definitely enjoyed it. It was really sort of insightful, or I really liked the way you approached the topic from the local communities angle and from the day one integration. I think it was very, very inspirational. And maybe my one question is about the, you listed quite many different these sort of events you did on the employment side, or not on employment, but actually just becoming an entrepreneur as a migrant. So yes. What was maybe the main takeaway from that side, or the key lesson learned in doing these different events? What was most beneficial? Was it just about explaining how setting up a business in the Netherlands works, or was it also on the level of, designing a business model and validating your business idea and all that layer of discussion?
It's a second one. So it's more like developing a business model, because we don't know where those people are going to go. It's possible that they move to the UK or they move to different parts of the Netherlands. So it's very much also about finding your own key competences and that kind of thing. So it's more like an entrepreneurial attitude that you have to go out, rather than learning all the Dutch rules about entrepreneurship. And a lot of people, they set up online businesses because it's not worth investing a lot of money, or usually don't have that much money to invest. So it's usually an idea, how can you make money and how do you set up business models?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really, really clear and very interesting also. Maybe also something that Maramures can potentially implement as a flow-through region of the migrant flows. I also really like that you emphasize the role of cities, because I think often when you talk about migration policy, you see a lot of decisions are made on the national level, but then somebody comes to the local region, and this is where the integration actually happens. And I think you provided a really nice example of how a local authority or a city authority could coordinate initiative like this with local communities. But now
you're absolutely right, because at the national level, at this moment, it's a kind of the depressing what is happening there. So then the cities take on the initiative, like Groningen and Utrecht. They have a different political party system, and they said, "Oh, we don't let this happen. We will take on the initiative," and then they pick it up.
And Erik, I give the word to you if you have some audience questions. You're muted, Erik.
Sorry. Yes, Denise Ponomarova had a question concerning the kinds of refugees or asylum seekers that were mostly involved in terms of what country they come from or their citizenship. Do you have any general pattern there?
Usually the youngsters, and they usually are from Syria. So we have a quite a large influx from Syrian and Pakistan and Afghanistan citizens. The Ukrainians are not part of this stream. So the Ukrainians are part of a different stream.
Okay. I would have a follow-up question on that, because, of course, being a refugee, it implies often having gone through trauma, being in a difficult situation, and then joining a community is maybe not that, it doesn't necessarily go very fluidly because you have a lot of things to deal with. I wonder if you have any filtering process to make sure that this stays a positive experience for everyone, that you're not confronted to types of trauma or psychological issues which are too big for just the man in the street to deal with and needs more professional support.
Yeah, absolutely right. There is a filtering within the system. So not all participants go directly into the neighborhood or go directly into the co-living thing. So the whole traditional system is still working, and not everyone is suitable to directly move into this kind of integration actions. But people who really want, they can move into this direction. It's not obligatory.
Okay.
Yes, so you see that 40 in the statistics shows that 43% of all the people, they join this program.
Interesting. We have some more questions on what's the future perspective on this? Are these courses now continued? Is it work in progress and constant improvement? How do you see the continuation of these activities?
You saw at the beginning that the city of Utrecht received a huge grant from the European Union to actually set this up. That money is gone now, and now the partners still continue, and the project is still running. and it's still going strong. So the partners who were involved, they are still involved, and they still deliver the programs, and all the whole system now works together as an ecosystem. So that's it's still there, and there's still quite a lot of available on the web. So if you want to find out more about the project, then there are quite a lot of evaluations and other things. So
excellent. Maybe you can post the link directly in the chat now. Then when we're
yes, I will look it up in a second.
Or you can, yeah. There was a specific question on social bond and cultural differences. It connects to what we said earlier. Do you see some specific, or do you need to work specifically on different types of cultural differences, on what makes it possible to create, or what are obstacles to create social bonds?
It's a good question. What you see is that there's a project called Trust the Process. So if you are a student union and you say we want to adopt 6 asylum seekers, of course there are cultural differences, everyone knows. But as you can see on the pictures, that when you keep it low numbers, then it is possible. Yes, so yes, it is possible, but you have to overcome some of the obstacles, and you really have to know that there are. So you cannot send 200 participants to a student union. Yeah. So the idea is you keep it low numbers, and as I said, not everyone is suitable to join these kind of programs.
Mm-hmm.
But with this, I would, yeah, please, Alexander, finish your thought.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Now, with this, I wanted to also invite back to the stage our other speakers. So for the last 15 minutes, we can have a joint discussion. So please, Marcel, Margareta, Paul, Oana, you feel free to join us back on stage with the camera. And first, maybe I could give still the word to Paul and Margareta, because as project partners in the SIRM project, working also on labor market integrations, you just had this a consortium meeting last week where all of the partners were there. And I'm curious to hear what was maybe the one key insight from that exchange, because there were multiple European regions involved. So Paul or Margareta, please, what was your takeaway from that event?
Yes, my video is also stopped by the host, so you cannot see me for the moment. Oh, yeah, right, okay, I'm here. I'm here also with my colleague Margareta. Yes, it's true, not, let's say, a secret. Last week we had the 4th transnational learning meeting here in Maramureș County. Our partners from the project joined us, and we also had free study visits in the field regarding the topic of the transnational meeting, intercooperation of public bodies and NGOs. I think all our partners saw that we have a good connection with the NGOs, and they helped us from the first moment of the outbreak of the war in Ukraine. If in the first month there were some, let's say, different opinions and different approaches on the main topic of managing the refugees and the crisis. After that, the legislation came in force, and also we had some local procedures, and everything was going smoothly. Maramureș County Council also allocated a great amount of money, I think around almost €1 million for the NGOs, to help the NGOs to work with the refugees. And we also had some procedures in force at the county level, on which Margareta had a very big input, and maybe she will explain to you what exactly were the materials we paid for the NGOs, and what were the cooperations with the NGOs regarding this financial aid. Margareta?
Hello, nice to meet you even online. As Paul told you, Maramureș County Council awarded around 1 million euro for helping and supporting NGOs and other institutions to support and help the refugees. For example, we paid for translation, for transportation of volunteers and social workers to the border and to assist the refugees. Also for the transport of donations and supporting materials in Ukraine over the border, cross-border. We also supported financial the NGOs for organizing specific activities. We organize a summer camp for children coming from the conflict areas. As I remember, we also organized the Ukrainian Day, gathering all NGOs involved in these activities and also Ukrainian refugees living in Romania at that moment. Very important is the partnership and the cooperation between public authorities, public institutions, and NGOs for supporting in all type of needs of people coming from Ukraine. Related to cultural integration, we can tell you that NGOs work together with Ukrainian volunteers, and also they hired specialists in different fields to work with Ukrainian living in Maramures. Another important aspect is education, integration children living in Maramures in our educational system, because we have a strong community of Ukrainian people living in Maramures near the border. It was not very difficult to organize special classes for Ukrainian children because we have teachers speaking Ukrainian, and this is one model of integration for a long time, people living from Ukraine to Romania. Thank you for the moment.
Thank you both. And sort of the underlying point is that, make use of your civil society and non-profit organizations or NGOs in the region as who could help. The similar bit what Alexander was talking to. You seek out the pre-existing communities or practices and integrate them with them. But I think a question to all of you, and something that was touched upon earlier, is this mismatch between the migrant skills and the local labor markets. So whether you need the language skills or the proof that you have the qualifications, or maybe in the case of some other, let's say, countries where people come from, you have underqualification issues. So how do you, see how to manage this sort of mismatch between the skills and the labor market? And maybe Marcel, how about in your region is this issue tackled?
Yes, this is a big issue. I mean, both the language skills and also the qualification. In Germany in general. So we are, let's say, our employers are not so flexible according language skills. So English is not so popular, let's say, or not so common to use in their work environment. So people have to have a certain level of German skills, depending on the kind of job they are doing. The next thing is also the qualification. So we have a very formal system in Germany according qualification. So we have this special vocational system, so that you do after you finish school, you either go to university or you do vocational training. Mostly it's combined. So you go to school and you go to a company. So you are already working in a company, and you make this vocational training, and then you get a certificate. And companies still look at these certificates. For them, it's still important in order to get a glimpse of how this potential new employee, if it's suitable or not. So how do we address this? So first of all, you have to start with some language course, German course, at least to get some basic German knowledge. You can continue on the job. So if the employer agrees to this, also you have to still have some flexibility to learn the language besides the job. And I think in order to overcome this obstacle, does this person know what it's doing or not? This kind of trainee just try to figure out for a couple of days or weeks, what this person can do or not. So then kind of trainings are important. This is a key, a door opener, I would say. So to just give employers the chance to get to know the person. This helps a lot.
Thank you. And I understood that in Maramures, you made an exception in the legislation that you could accept the qualification of the people like dentists without having the documents with them. Was this, if I understood correctly from Oana's presentation, that to overcome this challenge of employment, this exception was made? If I understood correctly earlier, you can confirm or deny what I was inferring. So Oana or Paul, how do you get over this obstacle? Yeah, Oana, please.
Now, in 2024, it's a different about 2022, because at the start in 2022, they need just a declaration of competences, yes, of her competences, just a declaration. And now they need to apply for recognized her competences, her qualification, and more than is about the regulated regulated, yes, professional. It's about lawyer, medicine, like that. It's more bureaucratic. It's periodo mai lungo, long term, for obtain this qualification. So we have doctor and lawyer who work unqualified jobs, if you understand.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So my advice is to have to adapt the regulation for the job for labor market, who needs the profession, who needs in a local labor market. We need specialists in healthy technology. So for this qualification, we need to have a flexible and accessible approach. Yes.
Thank you, Oana, for the advice and the explanation. And in the last minute, Alexander, I mean, from your side, I know you were dealing more with people not permanently staying in the region and constantly moving on, but still did this mismatch of skills versus labor market came up in the practices in Utrecht as well, or not?
Oh yes, of course it comes up, because we got quite a lot of high qualified people as asylum seekers, and one of the main issues is to recognize their diplomas, and that's very difficult. So yes, it always comes up. And at this moment in Groningen, we have a huge program that, because we have a shortage of people in the care industry, that we have special education programs to get them into the care industry.
Okay, well, then I guess if anybody's interested in this specific program, let us know, and then we can also, with the help of Alexander, maybe share this in another context. But as we're running out of time, I would like to thank all of our speakers. So thank you, Marcel, thank you, Alexander, thank you, Oana, also Paul and Margareta for your comments from Maramureș context. I hope this webinar was insightful for all of those who joined us, around 70 to 80 people today. Definitely a lot still to exchange on this topic, but as I said in the beginning, we have multiple projects working on migration and the labor market. So I'm sure in Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform, we will have follow-up events in 2025 and 2026. So I hope to meet you also in person one day in one of our workshops or maybe our peer reviews. And when this webinar closes, then there is also a feedback survey that automatically pops up. So from all the attendees, we kindly ask you to leave us some feedback, because we always try to make our webinars better and more useful for you. But otherwise, thank you everybody for your attention. Thank you for participation in the chat very actively. And I wish you a good day ahead.